I think you can. Erlene, thank you for that attention call. So look down here, people. Can you hear something? It's almost like the Niagara waterfall. That's a drain, a first century drain. A water course. So the sun is a little late this morning, so I'm bringing you to a special place. There's another drain here. So there are two of them. You know, the archaeologists say that Magdala inhabitants for 2,000 years ago had an extraordinary appreciation of water. Now, if you look at this beautiful mikvah, and it's crystal clear, absolutely crystal clear water, 2,000-year-old mikvah. This was the third one we found. The first one is in here, in that space, and we might go there in a moment. And the second one we found was here. Not 100% as clean as the other one, but almost. And then you see that hole that's there on the western side. It goes across to a fourth one that's right in there. Okay? So these are called ritual baths, mikvah, mikvaot in Hebrew. But that's actually not the reason I'm bringing you here today. I'm bringing you the reason here because you see this area here. It's a very special discovery. Here we found this arch intact, which is unusual in archaeology, and you have all this water down here. And then if we come over here, we find more excess of water right under where we're standing, coming in here to feed these two ritual baths. And actually all along there, it's an issue and a challenge for us. We have springs, underground springs along here. You see, you have all those hills in the distance. I don't know if you can see the hills of Lebanon way up there in the background. Well, actually, they're still in northern Israel, northern Galilee, but they're the border to Lebanon. And then you obviously have these. And we're in the lowest part here of the planet Earth in the Jordan Valley. It only gets lower further south at the Dead Sea. So we're sitting and standing on top of these waters. And here we have water. Well, actually, yeah, it is running. So one of the pumps is not running right now, but the other one is running down here. You can see the water flowing. We can actually go down there. That'd be a nice place to go. Then we go over on this side to get a little more perspective for the sunrise. And we're pumping out the water from the ritual baths because we want to keep that flow going and to keep the water circulating. So look here, people. Look at all the water. Whoops, sorry, this is the middle of July. Actually, the last week of July. We start tomorrow. So look at this here. And this water is coming out all the time. All the time. We actually made this drain in order to accommodate it. We actually have another one over there as well. It goes down by that fence down there. Okay, so let me tell you why I brought you here this morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunrise Stroll and Chat. We got a very special thing going on here today, and it's inspired by the Psalm. So just bear with me a second. My iPad didn't have it today, so I'm opening it up here in the portable missal, you know, little book here. So it's all the prayers for the Mass. And then here we have on Thursday of the 16th week of Ordinary Time. Look at that powerful water coming out all the time. Well, I just died down again, but it was a big gush there. And that's going into the lake. So all the hills all around have tons of water. They have natural cisterns probably and so on. There we go again. Okay, so God bless you, people. It's great to have you here. So we're reading today from the book of Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah. We're in chapter 2 and different snippets of it. Here, come back again, little bird. Look at this little bird here. She's the one. Or he's the one. I don't know if it's a he or she. I'm not that nuanced in my knowledge. So the psalm today is, "With you is the fountain of life, O Lord. With you is the fountain of life, O Lord. Fountain. Fountain, 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 fountain. With you is the fountain of life, O Lord. And if we look back here, all of this area is filled with springs coming right in from Mount Arbel. Right in from here. And it's not clear if it's big natural cisterns or springs, and we'd have to understand what are springs eventually as well, you know. But the idea of springs and fountains. Now, if you're living beside the River Shannon in Ireland, on which we were not, or if you're living beside the Mississippi or the Nile, and I'm not sure about the Jordan because it's a very narrow little thin river, but even by the River Jordan, in the drought of the summer, then you don't really need and appreciate what a fountain is. But I tell you, if you're living in the desert and you find a fountain, let's keep walking now and strolling so we catch the sun, because you got the idea here. So this is a residential area we excavated. We'll talk more about it another time. So if you're living in a desert, I was hiking in the desert maybe 12 years ago, in the Judean desert outside of Jerusalem towards Jericho, and I was on my own. I used to hike a lot and oops, the sun is red. Hey people, watch this. Let me see if I can catch it for you at this distance, because I'm a bit further away from the sun than usually. Normally it's 93 million miles away, but I'm about 300 yards further away right now. There's the sun, people. Look at that, under that palm tree. Let's see if we can get in there. Let me hurry and get closer to the sun. It's going to be wobbly because I brought it down to such detail. Or maybe you just want to take... Well, let's go down further because that's a beautiful picture. Sorry, I'm going to bring this down again because I'm afraid of you getting seasick. You know when parents have the kids in the car and they don't want them to get seasick? Or whatever in the boat. So we want to get down here in a real big hurry to see this red sun coming up in the morning, you know. Isn't that amazing? So we're going to have to come back to our theme in a minute about the springs in the desert. But this one winter morning, well, it wasn't winter, I'm trying to think now. It must have been like in October, November, before the rains. So you're at the lowest point of water availability, and you're a little bit closer. Let me get down closer here. And then you're at the lowest point of water availability. So come on, camera, help us here. There we go. And so the shepherds are at a real loss, the Bedouins, for water for their sheep and for their goats and for their camels and their donkeys. And I heard this banging going on. You know, I think it was earlier than November, probably still in October. And they were opening up the last cistern of water. And they were cracking it open because they had sealed it. Look at that sun. People, you're watching the sun rise over the Sea of Galilee. Welcome to Sunrise Stroll and Chat here at Magdala on the Sea of Galilee. Ain't that beautiful? Okay, I thought I had maximum expansion, but I didn't. That's the sun, people. That's not a little, what do you call those things, gifts. And there goes, I think it's Daviana, and she's waving. Whoops, wave again, Daviana. And she's on her way to work for the guests. We have quite a few guests during the week now, not just on weekends. People have discovered Magdala as a place for, look at that, people, look at that. I wanted to get over closer to frame it with one of the trees, so that you could get nice screenshots. Hey, that's not bad, is it? Let's deal with this here for a second. Let's work with this. How are we doing? Oops, sorry about that. There we are. Now let's be happy with this for a moment. How about that? How about that, people? So I got the other tree lined up. The 2 palm trees are lined up there, which take away a little bit of the beauty of the first one, because it's not perfectly symmetrically done, but that's okay. Maybe I can go over here a little bit more, and we'll hide most of the trunk of the second one. So a little bit unshoveled here, there at the top for this tree. So there we are, and the birds are helping us with their beautiful presence. People, isn't this nice? This is the Sea of Galilee, 23rd of July 2020, and we're alive to see it and to enjoy it. Behind every gift is a giver. Let me do it this way here, and we just have this palm tree without the other one. There we go. Hey people, how are we doing? So now we can go back to our text. And with you, what was the line? With you is the fountain of life, O Lord. With you is the fountain of life, O Lord. O Lord, your mercy reaches to heaven, your faithfulness to the clouds. Your justice is like the mountains of God, your judgments like the mighty deep. How precious is your mercy, O God. We're in Psalm 36. The children of men take refuge in the shadow of your wings. They have their fill of the prime gifts of your house. From your delightful stream you give them to drink. For with you is the fountain of life, and in your light we see light. Keep up your mercy toward your friends. Keep your just defense of the upright of heart. Welcome to Sunrise Stroll and Chat. I see some new people came in here, and we're at the Sea of Galilee. We're watching the sunrise. It's absolutely gorgeous. The reddish color now is fading to, it's going to come to its normal mature sun color that we're used to. And we'll stroll a little bit more here. And now the 2 trees are separating out there. And here we have the olive tree. Look at that, people, look at that. Look at that, peeping at you through this old olive tree. Isn't that amazing? How much knowledge is peeping at us through the old olive tree, and we're grafted on shoots. Let me do another little trick here. Hold on there now. Not a trick, just opening up focusing the view. Come on. No, not that way, this way. There's the sun, people, coming through this ancient olive tree. Hey, it's like blood red here. Here we're at the Sea of Galilee. Oops, I should always bring this down when I'm moving. You know, we have that experience already learned, that once you have the bigger view, you have a steadier walk through life if we don't focus overly on the details when we're walking. When we're stopped, we can focus on the details. So we have a context, we know where we are, we don't get shaken all over the place, but sometimes people are just focusing on one little detail, and we're moving fast and we don't realize that we're bumping into lots of other people and we're losing our equilibrium and our balance. I know that some of you really like this spot over here, so we'll go there just for another little taste of this. You see, this is more water we're pumping out here, and there's a leak in this pipe. And this is a different set of water pumps here. This is actually coming out here from the port area that we were just beside over here behind the olive tree. Over there, that port area, there's a lot of water there that we're pumping out. First century port, 2,000-year-old port. Oh, there are our squadron of parrots. Huh, how about this, people? How about this? So this is the beauty of creation. With you is the fountain of life. There are wonderful developments in science, and I'm sure we could have chemists and biologists and engineers that could tell us everything about these trees, about their chemical composition, about their principle of gravity, about the tensions holding things together, about the rooted system that in a heavy storm they will still stand. Imagine how many storms these trees have experienced and they're still standing. And I think they were probably born before me, some of them. So they've been around a while and they've seen many heavy storms. And they're still standing. And engineers inspire themselves from these structures for the building of big buildings. And the Twin Towers, I remember being at the top of them, how they swayed in the wind. Imagine building a building that can sway in the wind. 113 floors high, 109 floors high. So you could have these great scientists that would tell us every single thing about the tree. They could actually dismantle it all. They could take all of the atoms and count them and order them according to the chemical background and their substances and their interactions, and they could do all the molecular work, and they could do all the DNA work, and they could do all of that, all of it. There are a lot of birds dancing there in front of the sun. I don't know if you see them. They're small little birds. They've moved over here now to the left. So you'd have these scientists doing all of this, all of this, all of this. And you say, okay, now let's put the tree back together again. Would that tree live? Or if they went to the supermarket and they bought all the elements constituting a tree, could they make it live? With you as the fountain of life. Even if you were just to dismantle all the feathers of a bird, dismantle their wings and their bones and their muscles and their little brain, and try put it back together, will that bird fly again? Will that bird reproduce again? With you is the fountain of life. With you is the fountain of life. So I have to open this little gate here to get closer to paradise. So you understand why I'm stopped. My thing went off balance a little bit here, but if you're sleeping, put an extra cushion on that side of your head so you can straighten it up. Hold on there now. Isn't that a great sound? The sound of a squeaky old farm gate that's hundreds of years, but actually this isn't even 1 year, it's not even 3 months. So here we have our little beach here, our new beach, which the families with their children love. And they come and they play here. And then we have this nice seat here so grandma can come along and sit down and watch the children play. And the birds have done a little decoration today on that seat. And then we have this tree stump, a nice seat also. So I'll even sit down here right now. There we go. And there are thousands of little ants down here, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay here. So now let's come back here to the Psalm and to Jeremiah. With you is the fountain of life. And if if this good fountain of life is necessary for the little bird and for the tree, how much more for us, you know? With you as the fountain of life. And to recognize the fountain of life. You know, the Magdala people 2,000 years ago, according to the archaeologists, had a tremendous experience and mastery of water, as we were seeing back there 10 minutes ago. And they organized their ritual baths so they had continual flowing water. Actually, they're unique. They don't have another set of ritual baths like this in all of Israel. In fact, the next ones that they say are like these are in Grenoble in France and Speyer in Germany in the Middle Ages, like 1200 years later. So they were really able to accomplish something here at Magdala with water. But they didn't make the water. The water came in with you as the fountain of life. And now this is what Jeremiah says. They dug themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that hold no water. You know, we're talking with the prophets now. We're listening to the prophets these last couple of weeks. And it's the time of the exile. It's a time of great suffering. It's a time of great self-examination, like the Corona period has provoked for all of us. Thinking about our life. Thinking about how we've been living. So much has changed. So much suffering has brought us to our knees. And we are pondering and evaluating. And this is what the prophets were doing. They were leaders in that. When I brought you into the garden land to eat its goodly fruits, you entered and defiled my land. You made my heritage loathsome. This is Jeremiah, okay, chapter 2. The priests asked not, where is the Lord? Those who dealt with the law knew me not, all the scholars. The shepherds rebelled against me. The prophets prophesied by Baal, the false gods, and went after useless idols. This line is very strong. Be amazed at this, O heavens, and shudder with sheer horror, says the Lord. 2 evils have my people done. They have forsaken me, the source of living waters. They have dug themselves cisterns, broken cisterns, that hold no water. Now, no wonder Jeremiah, with these kind of words, was put in shackles. He was put into stock. His hands and feet were locked in with wooden clamps. He was thrown into the bottom of a cistern at another moment. Amazing. Because a person speaking these kind of words is not welcome. And today we have to think about the cisterns we have made for ourselves in our society. Do you see the little bird, maybe it's a little duck, just floating right across the sunlight right now? So it's just coming out of the sun to the right of it. Look at the little bird right there. A little baby duck, probably, something like that. So people, let us return to the fountain of life completely. How beautiful to show people the way to the fountain of life. To turn to our wonderful Lord, the creator of heaven and earth. If you want to put your toe in the water, just take off your socks right now. I'm down as low as I can with the camera. The camera's about like 4 inches away or 3 inches away from the water right now. And it's just a little inclined, so I can't get the sun and those waves at the same time, but this is not too bad. Look at these 3 insects here. I don't know if we can capture them. Well, it's moving over here pretty fast now. People, it was a joy seeing you today. Thank you for being with us. God bless you. Keep us in your prayers. We're praying for you, connecting with the fountain of life. See you later.